doing. Hope the preparations are going very well. Welcome to this reflection video for task E. So without wasting too much time, let's get straight into it for task E. Pretty much like the last time that you and I had a conversation, task E was an email from the chief financial officer to the financial manager. Let's see what it was all about. So in your pre-released information, you had document number 3, and that was quite a long email because it had an attachment to it or an annexure to it. So we were told that mid-tier private schools, such as those run by Kiro, Avtech, and Spark schools, right? So why are you being told about these mid-tier firms, schools, right? So this is something you already have at the back of your mind that, okay, there are these mid-tier schools. So let me keep track of why they are telling me about mid-tier schools and why are they specifically giving me these. Could there be information that is publicly available from these guys that I can use in whatever they're going to ask me? Okay, have proven rather resilient in this environment. These schools typically bridge the gap between high-end private schools and traditional public school offerings, with tuition fees at mid-tier private schools ranging from 25,000 Rand to 75,000 Rands per annum. You're just thinking about that. So what does this mean for this particular task? Keep that in mind. Further down the email, we were told, accordingly, we believe mid-tier private schools represent a key growth market. So now we've got an interest in this market, right? It can be part of our growth strategy. We have identified a number of investment opportunities in the sector to expand our reach. Now you're thinking expansion opportunities. What is it that could be involved in expansions, right? Unsurprisingly, there has been a significant increase in corporate activity in the sector over the last 12 to 18 months, with Kiro in particular having acquired a number of existing schools across the country. So it could be about acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions, right? At this point in time, everything is pointing towards financial management. Quite interesting. Now, as we continue reading this, we're told that Dennis has been approached by the owners of an existing mid-tier private school, the Elgin Open School. Right. Do you see the link now why we were told about Kiro in the beginning, Spark schools in the beginning, and specifically told that these were mid-tier schools? So now you need to put the link. So these are the guys I can compare Elgin school to, sorry. So now you continue reading, which is located in the Western Cape. I believe that this school's campus could provide us with an ideal site to launch our fully online initiative as envisioned by our board. The campus is large enough to accommodate both learners attending lessons in the physical classroom, i.e. contact learners, as well as online learners. We would like to afford our online learners an opportunity to engage with each other and with contact learners, as we believe this will allow them to develop their social skills. We are aware that our learner body is comprised of learners from all walks of life, and this campus would provide the space for all these learners to learn from each other and participate in activities offered on campus. Now, it gets interesting. This school has an excellent location and has a current enrollment of 438 contact learners with an average tuition fee of 38,500 per annum. Now, you're again being given this information for the possibility of comparing it to others. What is reasonable? What is not reasonable? Does it make sense? At this point in time, you don't even know what this task is leaning towards. Then all of a sudden, you are given much more data in a very, very, very small paragraph. Well, you're told in conducting our assessment of potential acquisitions, right? Already, you're thinking about mergers and acquisitions. You're thinking financial management. We may need to consider the following. Number one, the financial and operational performance of the school. Already, you're thinking about ratios, ratio analysis. Where do I go from here? What should I be considering? What information can I use to perform this operational analysis, this financial analysis as well? Number two, you're given how we might go about determining a fair acquisition price. Now, a lot of things come into mind. Now you're thinking about fair value, you're even thinking IFRS 18, but also you're thinking about valuations when it comes to financial management. valuation methodologies. What else can I think about? How do I value something? What are my considerations? What are the legal implications, right? Now, number 3, general due diligence matters. Now, this is quite interesting. Now you're thinking about due diligence procedures. How do we perform a due diligence when we want to acquire a certain company or a certain entity, etc.? Now, we were told that I may again want to draw on your audit skills, in quotes. Now, the complexion has changed. Now you're thinking, well, okay, so what audit skills are these? Are these companies X skills? Are these audit procedure skills? Could it be due diligence procedures? What exactly can this audit skill be that is looking for when we brief the professional services firm that we plan to contract to undertake a due diligence on the key financial aspects? Now, at this point in time, you're looking at this. I've been given 2 things, due diligence and financial aspects. So if I'm given these financial aspects, it definitely means that I need to perform a detailed research on this. I need to understand them. I need to understand the metrics. Due diligence, if I have never seen due diligence, then I need to obtain an understanding. I need to perform detailed research on what due diligence would mean and what we would need to do, right? So he then goes and says, just thought I would give you fair warning of this. Now, definitely your 3 things: audit skills, due diligence, financial aspects, key financial aspects. This you've been warned. It's just a matter now of saying, I understand this, throw whatever you can throw at me when it comes to the day. I have attached some high-level information relating to the Elgin Open School as Annexure B. Right. Then in Annexure B, you are given financial information. You're given an extract from the audited statement of profit or loss. You're given an extract from the audited statement of financial position. Then in the bottom corner there, you're given key metrics, right? Average number of learners, average number of average tuition fee per learner, average number of teachers, learner to teacher ratio. Well, if you've never seen these ratios, you need to understand what are they, what do they mean. If I compare the trend from prior year to current year, what is the change? If I look at that compared to the income statement, is it making sense? All of a sudden, it's your ratio analysis. It's your understanding of financial management, right? And of course, when it comes to auditing, you can be asked about anything that is on this line item. You can even be asked to audit your tuition fees. If you're asked to audit your tuition fees or audit procedures on that, are you ready for that? Can the audit on the tuition fees be converted to due diligence procedures? What should I be considering when it comes to due diligence? Remember, you're specifically told about audit skills and due diligence. What should I be looking at this regarding this information when it comes to due diligence, right? So those would be your key considerations. What is it that I need to know here? Why do I have all this data? How do I analyze this data? How does it compare to competitors? Very, very important information. Now, in addition to financial information, you've been given these notes. Now, these notes are important, right? Because they've got numbers, they've got trends that you need to investigate, you need to research about. For example, if you're told that historically we have achieved growth of 7.5% per annum, right? What does that mean? How does it compare to the competitors? You're thinking about the number of learners fluctuating. You are thinking about teachers resigning in 2018 and being replaced after 2 years. What does that mean for the industry, right? Do the competitors in their financial information have this information that is publicly available? What are the comments on that? What does it do? Does this impact my valuation of this entity? If I'm asked to value this, I don't know. But you keep that at the back of your mind, right? All this information. Hope that makes sense. Now, to summarize the information I was highlighting in the previous slides, right? It sounded a lot like we're talking about financial management, but all of a sudden it can change to auditing, governance, right? Now, mid-tier private schools such as those, I've told you about that, what you then needed to think about. Well, these are the competitors. What do I need to know about them? We have identified a number of investment opportunities in the sector. Now we're thinking, okay, what are these investment opportunities? With Kiro, in particular, having acquired a number of of existing schools. So now it's about acquisitions. Okay. Now Denise has been approached by the owners of an existing mid-tier private school. Now you're comparing these to the ones that have been given you now to you now. Now, what are the areas? It can be financial management. It can be audit. What you need to obtain an understanding of course, mergers and acquisitions, right? What would you need to do a detailed research on? Well, the factors to consider in mergers and acquisitions: expansion, cost synergies, valuation considerations, and of course, you can't forget the Companies Act. What are the legal considerations? What are the legal requirements in Chapter 5 of the Act, right? What could you be asked to do? An anticipated task. Well, you could be asked to advise on the legal considerations of the acquisition or the merger, if that is the case. And to much more interesting items, well, you've been told about the current enrollment. How does that compare? Does that make sense? You've been told about in conducting our assessment of the potential acquisition. So you are going to be asked about the potential acquisition. The financial and operational performance. Of course, now you want to know how is this school performing, how we might go about determining a fair acquisition price. What is the fair value of this? How do I value this company? What does this mean for me? How do I do this? General due diligence matters. If you've never seen that word, you need to research. You need to know what should be my considerations when I perform a due diligence, if I want to acquire a certain entity or merge with a certain entity, etc. Then you were told, I may again want to draw on your audit skills. So definitely your due diligence procedures is something that you really need to know about. What are the areas that can be examined? It can be your accounting, your financial management, your auditing, right? What do you need to obtain an understanding of? Well, mergers and acquisitions, the key metrics that were presented to you, the financial aspects, these were given, ladies and gents, but now you need to calculate your ratios. You need to obtain an understanding of those metrics. What do they mean? Ratio analysis, due diligence, growth strategies, IFRS 18 even on when it comes to fair value. What would you need to perform a detailed research on? Well, information provided in the notes to the financial information. Remember that number 1 to number 6. What does it mean qualitatively? What does it also mean if I compare to competitors, etc.? Compare that to the publicly available information of listed competitors, perhaps. Detailed research of what due diligence procedures would look like. Just refresh your memory on your valuation methodologies based on the information that is given to you. What could be the methodology? You could be asked to perform or review the valuation of the Elgin School. You could be asked to perform due diligence procedures or review those that are given to you. You could be asked to review or perform analytical procedures on the financial information provided. You could be asked to discuss the risk of material misstatement on the financial information that has been given in the context of that these guys want to sell their business or you want to acquire. What could they manipulate for them to drive the value up? Right. That's pretty much it from me. We'll have a chat when we discuss this in the session. Please just refresh your memories, your mind, your knowledge, brush up on your knowledge about these aspects we're discussing here.